Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest and welcome to the 5th of June 2025. Time is currently 3:25, so in fact it's 3:24. So about 45 minutes left of trading today. On a day I refer to as S Day in remembrance of a D-Day, which is tomorrow, 6th of June, and S Day stands for Settlement Day. And settlement of my old house has gone through smoothly, went through at 1 p.m. I've already received the funds. In fact, surprised to see how quick the funds were transferred to my account in about 30 minutes. So everything has mostly gone smoothly, apart from ING, which was my old bank with the mortgage. They were a little bit confused about who to send their documents, the mortgage documents, because they did change solicitors. I talked about that yesterday, I think. Anyway, so settlement day, and now I have to get in contact with the builder and tell them I have a fair bit of money now, have all the money they need to build my house. So hopefully my house can be built by Christmas. That would be the most awesome Christmas present. Now, this video is not talking about me and my personal life. This is all about the ASX Today. And the plan for today's video, what I'll do is I'll briefly talk about some macroeconomic stuff, which I forgot to talk about yesterday because we did see GDP numbers come out for Australia. And then we'll go through the ASX today. I'll have a quick look at the top gainers and top losers. I do want to include that, but I think I'll go through that fairly quickly. Also go through the top 5 stocks fairly quickly as well. I might discuss in this video a new IPO today, briefly discuss it, and then I might do a standalone video on that company. And then we'll have a look at the chart of the day. And if I have time, I will discuss, and when I say discuss, I mean a one-way discussion, a few of your comments. Now onto some macroeconomic news. And we are seeing more and more indications of sluggishness in economies around the world. So GDP yesterday was, in Australia was, I think it was about what they expected, or maybe just below expectations. But we did see some weak economic news come out of the United States overnight. Although China services sector growth accelerates, I think that's the complete opposite of what's happening in the United States. Philippines inflation rate lowest in 5 years. South Korea's economy contracts in Q1. Japan's nominal wage growth misses forecast in April. There we go. US services activity shrinks for the first time in almost a year. Now, if you go to Trading Economics, have a look at their calendar, you can just see all the economic news being released. For instance, factory orders month on month in the United States, negative 3.7%. And most of that is just because the uncertainty. This is the uncertainty when it comes to tariffs. You're just going to not maybe do your normal ordering because you just don't know. And I've actually listened to a few podcasts, particularly small businesses who rely on China because they can't manufacture what they need in the United States. So they're relying on China. And just the amount of uncertainty is they just can't do anything right now. So that's a problem with uncertainty. You just can't plan ahead. So no surprise that factory orders month to month have dropped significantly, but it was worse than expected. Forecast was actually negative 2.2%. It was actually down 3.7%. So I do like this page, going through all the economic news that has been released. There it is, everything you need. Anyway, so there are increasingly signs that the economies in the world are becoming a little bit more sluggish, which is interesting because a lot of the indices around the world are near all-time highs. So there is this bit of a disconnect right now between the equity markets and what we're seeing in economies. It sort of reminds me, funny enough, of just before COVID-19, just before the really bad stuff hit the fan, there was a brief disconnect. In fact, indices around the world were moving to all-time highs just before, as the COVID was going rampant in China. So it seems like the market was missing that potential. It was only a very brief period of time, but it still was being a little bit more optimistic than it should have been. And the very fact that the XGO almost at all-time highs is interesting. There we go. Right near the highs we saw back in February. Okay, now on to the ASX today. And slightly negative, except for mining. Mining's up, tech's up a little bit. Not surprised that we are down. I did expect this. What I was surprised with was with the start we had. So at one point, just after opening, the XJ was up about 0.3%. I was surprised with that. So that also telling us that there is a little bit of excitement, maybe not excitement, but there's a little bit of optimism. I wouldn't say froth either, but there's a little bit of I wouldn't say hype, I don't know the good word, but there's a little bit of bullishness, I suppose, within the retail market. So they tend to open the market and the professionals close it. That's the old saying. Amateurs open the market, professionals close it. So we did see the XGO and XAO up a fair bit. Even though our futures were down, that's the other thing. And we have seen our indices drop through the day. However, the last few hours, they have risen slightly. If we go have a look at the best and worst performing sectors, the indices, ITs had a pretty good day, up 0.74%. Not sure about that. NASDAQ was up slightly. I suppose NASDAQ was up slightly. There you go, 0.27%. Good day for real estate. So that's probably Goodman Group, materials and telecommunications, and a pretty negative day for utilities and healthcare. What else? ASX 20, where is ASX 20? It's all the way down to near the bottom, down 0.11%. Gold's had a negative day, down 1%, and banks slightly negative as well. So if we open up the ASX 20, I would say 11 companies down, 9 up, without any reason I'm saying that. 11 down, 9 up. That's just a fluke. No skill with me doing that. And if we have a look at the ASX 20 companies listed by market cap, banks, most, oh no, 3 of the big banks are down, but Westpac's up 0.63%. Why? We don't know. CSL is down 1.34%, heading back towards $240. I think buying CSL at any point or any price point around 240 is pretty good buying. But if you get it to $200, that will be even better buying. So that's nice buying there. Yeah, Goodman Group is up. In fact, the best performing company in the ASX 20 was Fortescue. So I suppose Iron Ore's had a pretty good day. Yeah, BHP and Rio Tinto are both up. And the worst performing company is, what I've gone past it. There is QBE and CSL, both down by over 1%. Now, I'm just going to briefly discuss or look at top gainers and top losers. I think I can spend a few minutes on this. I do like having a look at this. Evolution Energy Minerals up 112.5%. Now, I did go through this before I started recording to find if I did miss anything. So I did have a look at Evolution Energy, and I was not seduced by it. It was just about funding or something. Yeah, $2 million commitment for Kudu Graphite, and even the chart did not have me that excited. The share price was below 1 cent before this, and now it's just above 1 cent. So this is a sort of chart that I don't get too excited about. So that's Evolution Mining. What else was there? IperionX is in my top 5 stocks. In fact, IperionX is my stock of the day. Share price up 27% on pretty big turnover. And don't think there's anything else here I really want to discuss right now. And right at the bottom here, we have a company called Robex Resources. You see in the sector, it's listed as an ETF. That's actually a pretty good dead giveaway that this is an IPO, and they listed today. I discovered this quite a few months ago. Not all of these companies that have sector ETF that is listed as an ETF in the sector is an IPO. For instance, Eve Group is not an IPO, but you can see the ticker code has 5 letters. That means there's something else going on with Eve Health. It could be a consolidation of the shares. In fact, I have no idea. Let's just see. Let's see if there is consolidation or something. There we go. Consolidation split on the 29th of April. That's taken a long time, though. Anyway, so they actually did release something the other day. Stability test starts for ED and dysmenorrhea products. Okay, let's go back. Oh, yeah, so Robex Resources. I can see share price at 361. Now, typically, if exploring company does list, they usually list about 20 cents. So this does have me intrigued to have a close look. So I might do a stand video on Robex Resources just to see if it is a mining company that is in production. And what I'll do is I'll go through, and by the way, this is an IPO. I actually did verify this. What was the ticker code again? RXR. There we go. And they released a 692-page replacement prospectus. We'll just call that a prospectus. 692-page prospectus. So looking forward to going through that. Okay, let's have a look at the top gainers by market cap. And we have a lot of mining companies. Lynas Rare Earths up a fair bit. Mineral Resources, Pilbara. Clarity did release something today. And I didn't have a close look, but share price up 12.26%. Disco top line results. That is today. Yep, today. And I did have a look at the date. I don't know why. And there was nothing else here of note. MTM Critical Metals keeps on going up. And if we have a look at the top losers, the Painchek is in my top 5 stocks of the day, coming in number 3. Resimac had a share price there is down 15.27% because of a capital return. I think it was a 12-cent return, special dividend or something like that, and share price is down by more than 12 cents. So again, dividends aren't for free. If you get a 12-cent dividend, there's a chance the share price will drop by more than that. So the way I think of dividends is you get a dividend and then your capital is going down by the same amount, maybe even more. So again, dividends aren't for free and nothing else there of note because some of these companies, particularly down the bottom here, are in my top 5 stocks of the day. Hello, Tyro Payments and Cosol. Top losers by market cap. Redox, IDP Education falling again. When did they release that really bad news? It was 2 days ago, wasn't it? So let's have a look. They are down. Look at that. Yeah, geez. From 747 down to 352. Share price has more than halved since that negative news. And anything else here? Dateline Resources, share price up and down. A lot of day trading with that one, I would assume. And I think that's about it. Okay, so let's get to the top 5 stocks of the day. I won't discuss the IPO. I do still a video on Robex Resources, whatever it's called. So let's go to the top 5 stocks of the day. Coming in number 5, we have Cosol, who did release, was an update, I think it was a trading update, something like that. Share price down 9.66%. Yeah, market update and financial year 25 earnings guidance. Whenever I see that sort of thing, that sort of announcement, I was always open it up. Share price is down 10%. So we already know it is a little bit negative. Not massively negative, I'm going to give it that. Share price has decreased a fair bit. It wasn't a beautiful uptrend. I was trading this at one point, and share price has pulled back a fair bit. I would say maybe 60 to 7% from its high. So there is a fair bit of negative sentiment when it comes to this company. They're still expecting growth, still a growth company. Full year revenue between 118 and 121 million. So it's about 19% higher than financial year 24. Higher revenue is translating to higher statutory EBITDA. So things are moving in the right direction. I'm going to have a closer look at this and just compare these numbers to the markup of a company. So there could be some value in this one. And the reason I say that is I did put Cosol into my value or cheap watch list. So I'm just going to confirm. Now, why is the share price down and why is this sort of a negative update? Yes, in the third paragraph, they mentioned while this growth is positive, it is lower than previously anticipated on the back of timing challenges with new contracts, which are anticipated to commence in financial year 26. So it is a slightly negative update from the company. Now, I'm of the belief that when a company gives guidance, they should always err on the side of caution and have lower guidance they might necessarily want or think, because something bad always seems to happen. So I do always prefer companies who upgrade their guidance through the year instead of downgrading the guidance. That's just my preference. I just think and prefer that sort of conservative mindset because things go wrong all the time that you'd never think of. But this company's still growing and that sort of thing, if it is true, timing challenges with this moving to the next year. They also mentioned one-off restructuring costs, that's a one-off, and pullback in activity in the coal sector, driven by commodity prices. So that's actually pretty important. That means if we do, based off this, if we do see coal prices go through the roof, this company might benefit a fair bit from that. So that's why share price is down for Cosol. And if we have a quick look at the chart, quick look at the chart for Cosol, share price is still in a downtrend. Now there it is, a beautiful uptrend for a while. Share price moved into downtrend, got out at some point in August. I think would have been August last year, and the share price has fallen, a fair bit from it there. And possibly there might be some value in this company now. And the reason I say that, I think the market cap might be like 120 million. Let me just confirm that. 120 million. Yeah, 119.2 million. I'm wondering if you have a look at these numbers. So just for instance, EBITDA, expecting EBITDA to be between about 17 and 18 million. So companies trading on almost, we'll say 6 times EBITDA, 6 or 7 times EBITDA, which is not that high for this sort of company. Okay, coming in at number 4, we have Tyro Payments. This one's easy. Easy to understand why the share price is down 11.5%. Not a trading update. However, for those who love companies because of their management, maybe this is a reason to sell out of Tyro. CEO and Managing Director resignation. I can't remember his name. John Davey, that's it. John Davey has probably become sick of a publicly listed company. He's stepping down, has accepted the CEO role at a private equity-backed business. I actually can see the merits and the attractiveness of just being a CEO of a private equity-backed business over a publicly listed company. I can definitely see why someone would be attracted to that sort of thing. The role is based in Melbourne, where he lives, and is outside of the financial services sector. He will continue in his current role for up to 6 months to spot a smooth transition while executive search process is undertaken. Now, the very fact the share price has dropped a fair bit on this news tells me the market actually quite likes this Mr. John Davey. So, market is disappointed. Put it that way. The market is disappointed. And I suppose another reason why the share price is down, I think the market respects this guy. And the market is now saying, thinking to itself, we just don't know who the new CEO is going to be. It could be a really bad CEO, but it could be a really good CEO. Now, what the interesting about Tyro is that the share price was in a downtrend for a while, and you can see the downtrend by this dashed line. So it really started back in the middle of 2022, actually late 2022, start of 2023. At that point in time, share price was $1.75. A couple of times the share price tried to break above the downtrend. You can see it tried on the 6th of August, also tried on the 26th of February. So fun enough, that's reporting days. So it looks like this company has released some good financial reports in August of last year, February of this year, but the market just didn't care. And then I think the share price did break out of the downtrend on the 5th of May. What happened on the 5th of May with Tyro Payments? The 5th of May, Tyro withdraws from SmartPay acquisition process. The market liked that. And in fact, the chart before today looked pretty good. Now, even though the share price is down 10% today, I think this could be a little bit of an overreaction from the market. And also, if you just continue the downtrend line, the share price has bounced off that downtrend line. So that is now acting as support. So possibly a nice buying opportunity for Tyro Payments. Coming in at number 3, we have Painchek. So yesterday I talked about Elsight because someone mentioned it in my comments. Also talked about Painchek a few days ago. I'm not sure how long ago. One of the reasons I remember this is because Painchek is spelt, the Czech part of the name is spelt without the C. So Painchek, maybe that's just they can't spell, but anyway, share price down 23.64%. And this is interesting because the share price before today was looking really interesting, and I just don't understand why the share price is down. So Painchek has productive final FDA de novo clearance meeting. Now, I don't know much about this company, and this sounded okay. I didn't think it sounded that terrible. And what I'm going to do right now is, if I can, my freaking mouse is not working right now for some reason. Oh, geez. Just go. There we go. And what I'll do is I am going to just put this to ChatGPT and says what it says. And I might just ask it, why is share price down? Why is share price down on this? Because I mean, it sounded positive. It wasn't anything of note in it that I could explain why the share price is down 23.64%. Maybe decision timeline is a little bit longer than the market was hoping, but within 75 days, targeting mid to late September 2025. Maybe that's a little bit later. So maybe it's simple as that. So why is share price down on this? Delayed revenue realization, financial performance concerns, investor sentiment, market volatility. So no help at ChatGPT. So anyway, got to listen to the market with this one. I didn't see anything overtly wrong. Just talking with the FDA, agreeing to revised timeline. So the only thing I can think of is that revised timeline is not to the market liking, but it's not much. It's not much of a delay. It's within 75 days. Anyway, so that's the only thing I can think of. And the chart is really interesting for Painchek. So before today, share price was sort of breaking out, beautiful chart. And then all of a sudden, share price has just flopped. Now, the other thing about this is the announcement was released at 8:33 a.m. And the share price on open was only down a little bit. So yesterday, it closed at 5.5, opened at 5.4 cents. And has just been sold off today as low as 3.8 cents. So this was not met with much pessimism or negative sentiment from the market on open. So it could be just day traders. I have no idea. But, yep, it could be a trend killer, this. We'll wait and see what happens with Painchek. Look at the volume as well. Really big volume coming through today. Okay, cancel. I don't want to leave. Coming number 2, we have, oh, by the way, coming number 3, number 4, number 5 were all negative responses by the market. The top 2, both positive. The first one, coming number 2, is Dubber. Can't believe I'm talking positive vibes with Dubber Corporation share price up 12.5% on business update announcement. There are were some things to like about this particular announcement. So this was a sort of a further update from their announcement on the 20th of May. There it is. And on that particular day, the share price did go down 44.7%. Then it went down 19%. And then it went down 11.8%. So it was sort of negative. But there were some positive vibes about this one. So they're talking about reducing annual cost by $4 million by the end of the first half financial year 26. Working to remove its surplus London real estate to save a further $1.25 million a year, is aiming to be run rate cash flow positive again by December 2025. So we're not talking about that far away from now. So there were some positive things about this. Now, I prefer a company to become cash flow positive, profitable by growing their revenue, not by decreasing their costs. So that's probably the one negative thing I will have to say about this. They're decreasing their costs to become cash flow positive, not increasing their revenue. So that's one negative thing I would say about this particular announcement from Dubber, but it's positive. At least they're moving in the right direction. So let's have a look at the chart for Dubber. This is going to be ugly, because we do know the share price dropped a lot. There it is, dropping a lot. It did here, so I did put a bit of a support level at 1.6 cents. So share price is hovering around that level. It says here it's only up 5.88 cents. Oh, by the way, you just have a look at this. The share price did open at 1.9, went to up high of 2.2, has fallen away. And hopefully you can understand why the share price might have been sold into, or this announcement might have been sold into, because there were probably a fair bit of shareholders who bought on this potential breakout we saw, or Dubber saw, back in January. And it's actually a nice little breakout. Share price was much higher than it is now for 3 to 5 months. So there would be a lot of shareholders underwater. And they did see the share price rally today a little bit, and they sold into that. Or there could have been a fair few shareholders who bought at lower prices, lower than 2 cents, and were just waiting for a bit of a bounce. And we got that today. So even though I think it was a positive update from Dubber, the chart looks pretty negative. Now to the chart, or the stock of the day. Not the chart of the day, the stock of the day, IperionX. This company has a market cap of, what is it? About, I'd say, over $1 billion. Market cap of $1.52 billion. I'm trying to remember what they do. Titanium, something to do with titanium or something like that. American producer of titanium alloys, titanium products, and critical minerals using patented metal technologies to produce performance titanium alloys from titanium minerals. Founded in 2020. So it's not an old company at all. Yet the market cap of the company is $1.5 billion. So why is the share price up 28.44% today? Because they were awarded a US DoD, Department of Defense cyber contract for up to 99 million US dollars. I actually did put this into ChatGPT just because I was a little bit lazy. Here we go. Key highlights: supply low-cost domestically produced titanium for US defense applications. Phase 3 significance: reserve for technology ready to scale commercial deployment. Manufacture high-performance titanium fasteners using ASX patented production and forging technologies. Yes. So there you go. And the CEO, Tazo Arima, says this validates our tech and aligns with DoD priorities to secure an all-American titanium supply chain. Anyway, so I have been referring to this company as still a bit of a story stock. And the reason I'd say it's a bit of a story stock is because, well, the market cap is really high. So there's a lot of promise already baked into the share price. And if you just have a look at their, say, the last half year numbers, this company will have to increase their revenue at a significant rate for me to be interested. I really need to see a little bit more proof of concept for me to get interested in a company that is valued at $1.5 billion. So if you have a look at, where is it? I was at it. I was on it. So you can see, if you have a look at their profit and loss statement, there is no revenue at all. Nothing. And a loss of $21 million. And yeah, so this is still, by my definition, still a story stock. So cash flow negative by operating cash flow negative by 11.8 million and free cash flow negative by $15 million. But that could easily raise cash because they do have a market cap of 1.5 billion. Now, you could be arguing, particularly if you're very keen on the future of this company, that they're going to have or produce a lot of revenue in the future. But I personally just need to see that. So if you have a look at the chart, share price did drop a lot from the highs back in December. Share price dropped. And this is what happens with these type of companies because it's really hard to do any sort of valuation on this company. You could talk to 5 different people and the valuation they would provide for Hyperion by their models or through their models would be 5 significantly different numbers because it's a story stock. It's just really hard to value story stocks. Share price did drop 68%. And now he's back to rising. Share price could rise another 100% from here, 200% from here, or it could drop another 100%. I just don't know. So I would still refer, I'll still say this is more of a trading stock than anything else. Now, the share price, you can see that they listed back in 2022, and it was in a beautiful uptrend for a long time. Okay, so that's Hyperion coming in. The stock of the day, coming in number 1. Okay, the chart of the day, EML. EML Payments. Yeah, a little bit biased with this one as well, just like yesterday. I had Neuron Pharmaceuticals. I took a trade in, I've been trading EML Payments for a while. For me, this is more of a trading stock right now. You can see a lot of volatility in the company, share price up and down. So I did buy some shares on what I thought was a pretty good update, if I remember correctly, back in November. This must have been the AGM. Bought some shares at $1. And I have been underwater for most of the time since then, up until just a week ago. Share price broke above $1. In fact, the breakout price was $1.04, and it did that, a beautiful breakout on the 28th of May, and the share price has gone up since then. So this is a classic, potentially classic breakout, apart from it's not breaking out on positive financial news. That's the one thing, the one little thing that does not make this a classic, true Kneppy's breakout. There's no breakout on positive financial news. So that's the chart of the day, EML Payments. And finally, I'll do a few of your comments. Ben Hutchinson says, I was not surprised you didn't cover he was surprised I didn't cover West African Resources. Yes, it did make it. Fun enough, I did write down 4 ticker codes: West African Resources, Levisa, Elsight, and Berara Rocks. But I left out West African and instead included Coronado and Catapult. Yes, so there you go. So very close to being the top 5 stocks. And I think the main reason why I didn't include it in the end is because the share price did not decrease as much as I thought it was going to be. So share price is down today, but it's because of gold. Yeah, share price is only down 4%. So I thought, it's only down 4%. Yeah, so I did, so very close. West African was very close to getting to top 5 yesterday. And you're right, yeah, interesting how the market just shrugged it off. Already priced in or trend following investors don't care about such details. Yeah, I think the other thing is they've just gone to production with their new mine. And I think there's a chance that the market is not realizing the potential of that new mine alongside the current mine. So I do think there is potential that West African is undervalued at these levels. Okay, I am going to end it there. The best pizza, Bill Walton says, is the ones made with kebab meat. I don't think I've ever had that before. And Scott says there might be a bit of value in IGO at the moment. Let's have a gander, if that is a word. Okay, well, actually, to know if there's value, I'll probably have to have a little bit of a deeper look. It's dividend yield 9.76%. This is definitely one I would probably just wait until, say, I see something I like in a chart, because the share price has been in a long downtrend. In fact, it's been a downtrend since middle of 2023, so almost 2 years. And that point, the share price was around $15. So the share price has dropped. What's that? 11 over 15. So the share price has dropped 11 over 15. What's that? That's like 70 to 80%. But I'd definitely just focus on the chart. Has the low been reached? Maybe. Okay, so that's all I have for today's video. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.